Want to stay current with the issues that affect public safety in Norfolk? Sergeant Eric Flax with the Norfolk Police Department joins us not only to share his observations, but to do so on a regular basis. Welcome, Sergeant, to the show. And today's focus is on walking downtown or driving down or just being downtown and trying to move. Yes. And move around safely. It can be quite a challenge.
Yes, it can, for both the drivers and the pedestrians.
Yeah. So who do you want to start with, the pedestrians or the drivers?
Yeah, take your pick. Both of them seem to have both their place in our downtown area, and it really just boils down to a mutual respect for both.
It's also a mutual awareness of both, and I think that probably, because there are so many distractions, either in a car or while you're walking, that you can actually control, that maybe that needs to be pointed
Well, we
out.
become a busier society, and a lot of things take up our times in our lives, and we try to integrate them into our travels. And in doing so, we kind of lose our perspective on, at that particular time, what we should be focusing on. If you're driving, it should be driving. If you're walking, it should be an awareness of your surroundings and where you're going. And that tends to get taken over with matters of the day or cell phones or any number of things. And as a sergeant who works downtown, I see this on a daily basis. And, you know, sometimes it can be a little cringeworthy seeing how these two come together at certain times and places.
Dare you share a few examples and without naming names?
The biggest thing really is, you know, downtown is a very dense area. There's a lot of commuter traffic. There's a lot of foot traffic. People are trying to get to work. People are trying to get to school. And while the city has done an excellent job of laying out paths for people to walk and sidewalks to be clear and putting in crosswalks, it really, again, boils down to just mutual respect for each other, obeying speed limits, and pedestrians especially being mindful of where crosswalks are, and obeying the lighted signs that tell them when to walk and when not to walk.
Yeah, I imagine that's probably something that is not obeyed very often.
Again, people get in a hurry, both pedestrians and drivers, and the thing to remember is that crosswalk is not necessarily a safe haven. As a pedestrian, you need to be mindful of traffic as it approaches. As a driver, you need to be mindful of pedestrians, sometimes crossing at random intervals without any warning.
Mm-hmm.
The speed limits downtown are very low, 15 miles an hour for the main portion of Granby Street,
right.
So that it should give the drivers enough time to react to any sudden movements of students around TCC going to class, or business people out on their lunch break. Around noontime, it can get very, very crowded down there.
I imagine, too, you mentioned that, you know, crosswalks, so they need to be, you know, very, you know, aware of those, but then there are the people who don't use crosswalks.
No, it's a problem. Adults will dart out between cars, the same as kids in a neighborhood chasing a ball.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, drivers and, again, pedestrians all need to be mindful of each other's place as people move around downtown.
They used to call it jaywalking. Do they have that? Do they use that term anymore?
They still do. More commonly, it's pedestrian and roadway, but we see it on a regular basis. And, you know, we try, when we have the occasion, to stop both motorists and pedestrians and kind of have a chat with them real quick about, you know, maybe a better way to get to where they're going in a more safe and efficient manner. Sometimes our duties don't always allow that to happen. But we do try our best to keep everybody safe and everything in sync.
Having been down Granby Street myself numerous times, you see some of these cringeworthy moments, and wonder who they get, you know, and they seem to get away with it, or they get out of it safely. But that can't always be the case. I mean, are there many situations where people might get hurt, or is it really
not as
pretty
many
miraculous?
As you think. It's and I don't really know why. It's good that it hasn't happened. We probably see more motor vehicle accidents than we do anything else.
Yeah.
Now we've integrated bike paths down there, so you're going to get bicyclists on the road, which is just one more factor of a busy downtown area that people need to be aware of.
Yeah. Now, in the bicyclists, I mean, I would imagine if you're strapping on, you know, if you're wearing a helmet, and you know, and you're driving in a very congested area, that you would try to be as aware as possible of those things around you, because you're very vulnerable, even more so than a pedestrian. You can at least, quickly step aside, but a bike is a piece of equipment.
Well, bicyclists need to obey the rules of the road. Drivers need to obey the rules of the road pertaining to bicyclists. And more importantly, drivers parking their vehicles need to be mindful of cars and bicyclists coming up the road. I see, as a bicycle officer downtown, there have been a couple of occasions where I'd be going along in my duties, and somebody that had just parked a car doesn't check their side view mirror, and the door opens, and now I'm swerving into the oncoming lane trying to avoid getting taken out by a driver's side door. So that does happen quite a bit.
Well, not to mention the car that might be driving up.
Absolutely. I've seen that quite a bit too.
You see that usually in the movies, but it's still a real danger because there's so much going on there. What about the motorized vehicles like, I don't know, mopeds and those types of vehicles?
Well, they are becoming more prevalent on the roadways because they're affordable and economical.
What road rules do they obey or supposed to obey?
They obey the same rules of the road that every driver obeys. They're still held to the same standard of speed, signals, things like that.
And does that generally seem to be the case?
Again, for an area as congested as the downtown area is, we don't see as many problems as you would think. But again, it never helps to remind everybody of self-awareness.
Yeah, self-awareness, which can be taken away from you when you're on your cell phone and walking across a crosswalk.
Absolutely.
And not looking at your whereabouts because somebody wants to turn right and they've just stepped out in front of you. I see that a lot, and it's very scary.
It is.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to mention that Sergeant Flax also does a column for the Downtowner magazine. So his name is Getting Around, and he shares his observations about many things in the Downtowner.
I do a monthly article on behalf of the police department in the Downtowner magazine, and ironically enough, my first article was about crosswalk safety.
Oh, there you go.
I've done ones for texting while driving and holiday safety, both for shopping and tips for keeping your car safer, things not to do to make your car so attractive to thieves. My last article, which was March, was about the downtown public safety ambassadors. What an invaluable asset they are, not only to the downtown, but to the police department as well.
Yeah, they're great.
It's a good relationship.
Yeah, that's really, really nice. We had put up there also scam alerts. There are things that are going on amongst, in our area that take advantage.
There is.
Of people.
There is. The phone has taken us a long way, but it's now becoming one more avenue for thieves to try to scam you out of your money or personal information or anything like that. And just as a side note, those phone calls, if you don't feel comfortable or you can't verify it, always ask for a phone number and a point of contact, and then do research on your own and call them back.
All right.
And maybe you'll feel more comfortable then.
Good advice. And we'll be looking forward to hearing more from you, not only in the Downtowner, but on other topics that might be of interest to people in the area.
Anytime.
Just to make sure that our people are as safe as they can possibly be. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time.